Good morning. November 16th, 2024, 7:31 a.m. in the middle of the country, 8:31 a.m. on the East Coast, 4:31 on the West Coast, 6:32 Mountain Time. Looks like 2025 and the end of 2024 is going to be a really good time period, a really good now for all of us interested in what's going on in outer space and some other things. I got a lot of stuff going on, but we're going to bring you some new collision course shows. We have our fourth interview, and we're going to broadcast it live here on YouTube and Facebook with Dr. Abby Loeb. We're going to refresh our memories on all the things that he's active in. Oumuamua, Comet Borisov, his book Extraterrestrials, and his new research off the coast of Papua New Guinea. That's right, it's Faroes. Besides that, we have currently happening live every day some news coming out of the mainstream media about unknown UAPs. They don't even call them UFOs anymore. And jellyfish with lights. If you're interested in seeing those little notes and what was reported on TV news, you go over to my Facebook. If you go over to my Facebook page, that's facebook.com/Fuzzy Was Here, FUZZYWASHERE. That's over on Facebook, Fuzzy Was Here. I do a lot of posting on Facebook. I need to do more posting on YouTube. So we got the interview lined up for December 14th. Hey Ryan, how you doing, buddy? We have our, I started right away. I started talking right away. We have December 14th coming for our interview, our fourth interview with Abby Loeb, Harvard's astronomer and astrophysicist. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan SVD, Ryan-SVD, subscribed and liked. We much appreciate you. What we're talking about this morning about what's coming up in the future for this channel. Hi, William. Hi, William. That's a double thumb up. William, double, double. Double, double for Ryan and William. Boom, boom. Thank you very much. My name is Francis Walsh. I'm here about 30 miles outside of Houston, Texas. This page is Collision Course. It's a Space Oddities page and podcast. Hi, Weston. Oh, man. Why do I don't want to say that name, man. Hitler. Nah. Do you get that all the time? So, Space Oddities podcast, Collision Course, Francis Walsh. Interviewing scientist Abby Loeb, December 14th, live from 1 to 3 p.m. here on YouTube. I'll be talking about it more as it's coming up. But we booked another interview because all the recent UAP reports coming out of the mainstream news, we had to reach out. Well, actually, I'll tell you what happened, really. I had a friend of mine, a NASA engineer, make a comment on the post that I shared on Facebook. And again, a lot of you don't do Facebook. But I do a lot of stuff on Facebook, so I don't know. And a lot of stuff on Facebook doesn't get over here on YouTube, so whatever. But so I got a reply to my comment from a NASA engineer, now a really cool NASA engineer. And he come up and said, well, yeah, the government is holding something. And I said, oh, they are? Really? Can we talk again? And yeah, he said, yeah. So we're going to also double up the interviews. We're going to have Abby Loeb December 14th, but we're really going to start rolling in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, all of 2025. What a packed month that is, from new episodes of Collision Course on the really important topics of the day. You know, aliens and comets and pictures from Collision Course, live interviews, YouTube. We're trying to ramp up this page so we get enough activity on this page to really make people's lives better. Where we at? Or at least give them something to do when they need something to do. Bistro. All right, everybody, let's go down the list. William, H-Town, Hitler, Ryan, SVD, Weston, Hitler, Bistro. I need help. I got my sister pregnant. I don't know what to do. Pull it out. Simple. Interview. Avilo, NASA engineer, and we got a lot of stuff in the UAP. So, but let's get the real reason why we're here. Recently, day before yesterday, there was a House Intelligence meeting, and they had 4 very prominent people, whistleblowers. They call them whistleblowers. They call people whistleblowers. If ever get up there, they're going to whistleblow. But one of them was this gentleman, and I don't know if you can actually read it. This gentleman is Dr. Tim Gallaudet. He actually works for Department of Commerce, but he is a former rear arm. No, you can't be a former, right? He's written testimony. Let's just get, rather than me fucking around, let's just get right into it. What I'm holding here is Dr. Tim Gallaudet, Rear Admiral, U.S. Navy, retired's written testimony to the House Committee on UAPs. I'm doing good. Don't you? I want to know what this guy said, because this right here is kicking off a whole new place for us, because they want to drop UAP shit on us. Well, let's follow it up. Let's get these people on our show. Let's follow them up. Let's see if they can repeat the same story time and time and time again, because that's what they're going to have to do. Repeat the story time and time and time again. Right here we have the testimony, and we'll see how many times he can repeat the testimony and not fall off it. Just like we're going to do with Avilo, because I got a little secret for Avilo. And it's fair rules. But that's for that day. Let's do this. Let's get this testimony taken care of. It's unidentified aerial phenomena or Project Bluebeam type. No, I think, I don't know if everybody's seen them, but I've seen the videos. They got these spheres. I'm not quite sure how big the spheres are, but they don't appear to be too big. Maybe 2 feet like this, and they are like no drone I've seen, and no drone. I mean, even Terrence Howard. It ain't a Terrence Howard drone. It ain't nothing like that. It is a sphere that just travels in a straight line. I've seen it over war zones, battle zones. I mean, we've seen shit up in the sky. We don't know, but when we talk about terrestrial UAPs, one of those spheres really fits the deal. And they've had it because they're over a battlefield and they're already got surveillance. So they're surveilling the area, and all of a sudden in comes this sphere. And they don't put a banana next to it, so I don't know how big it is. But these spheres are appearing to move through the sky without any propulsion. Yeah, so that's what I think. That is going to, these fellas, well, let's find out what he says anyways. Ocean STL Consulting, LLC, Ocean Science and Technology. Oh, gosh, this is right off the top bat. Now, ocean. The ocean's going to play a role in UAPs, UFOs. The ocean's going to play a real big role. So it's right off the bat. And I have not read this. I haven't read it. William, that's okay. You can be the only one. You know what? This is going to be recorded. People are going to come back and look at it later. You don't have to be here. But I'm glad you're here. But right on the top, here's the newsletter, the letterhead. And it comes from Ocean STL Consulting, LLC, Ocean Science and Technology. Again, And also, all the rich people are going to go to the ocean and want to live when the flood comes or whatever happens. They're going to the best place to be is going to be out in the ocean somewhere, not really on any land. So there are mega ships out in the ocean that we don't know about that can house a lot of people. I don't know how mega is a mega, but mega. Ocean STL Consulting, LLC, Ocean Science and Technology, Leadership for the 21st Century. Written testimony by Dr. Tim Gallaudet, Rear Admiral, U.S. Navy, retired. One of those fears, the Navy was trying to get a law consultation. I believe that was over War II. They're probably USOs. CEO, written testimony by Dr. Tim Gallaudet. I'm not gonna look at the screen. Dr. Tim Gallaudet, Rear Admiral, U.S. Navy, retired CEO, Ocean STL Consulting. Okay, so Tim Gallaudet, besides working for the U.S. The Department of Commerce, he is also the CEO of Ocean STL Consulting. We're going to get him. We're going to get an interview with this dude. LLC and former acting undersecretary and assistant secretary of commerce for oceans and atmospheric and acting administrator and deputy administrator of NOAA. Hearing on unidentified anomalous phenomena exposing the truth. UAP exposing the truth. Committee on Oversight and Accountability, Subcommittee on Cybersecurity, Information Technology and Government Innovation, and Subcommittee on National Security, the Border and Foreign Affairs, U.S. House of Representatives, November 13th, 2024, just 3 days ago. Chairwoman Mace, Chairman Grothman, ranking members Connolly and Garcia, and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify before you regarding unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAP. Confirmation that UAPs are interacting with humanity came from me in January 2015 when I was serving as the commander of the Naval Meteorology and Oceanography Command. At the time, my personnel were participating in a pre-deployment naval exercise off the U.S. East Coast that included the USS Theodore Roosevelt Carrier Strike Group. This exercise was overseen by the United States Fleet Forces Command, led by a 4-star admiral who also served as my superior officer. During this exercise, I received an email on the Navy's secure network from the operations officer of Fleet Forces Command. The email was addressed to all subordinate commanders, and the subject line read in all capital letters, "Urgent Safety of Flight Issue." The text of the email was brief but alarming, with words to the effect, "If any of you know what these are, tell me ASAP. We are having multiple near mid-air collisions, and if we do not resolve it soon, we will have to shut down the exercise." Attached to the email was what is now known as the Go Fast video, captured on the forward-looking infrared sensor on board one of the Navy FA-18 aircraft participating in the exercise. The now declassified video showed an unidentified object exhibiting flight and structural characteristics unlike anything in our arsenal. The implications of the email was clear. The author was asking whether any of the recipients were aware of classified technology demonstrations that could explain these objects. Because DoD policy is to rigorously deconflict such demonstrations with live exercises, I was confident this was not the case. The very next day, the email disappeared from my account and those of the other recipients without explanation. Moreover, the commander of Fleet Forces and his operations officer never discussed the incident again. even during weekly meetings specifically designed to address issues affecting exercises like the one in which the Theodore Roosevelt Strike Group was participating. This lack of follow up was concerning. As the Navy's chief meteorologist at the time, my primary duty was to reduce safety of flight risks. Yet, it was evident that no one at the flag officer level was addressing the safety risks posed by the UAPs. Instead, pilots were left to mitigate these threats on their own, without guidance or support. I concluded that the UAP information must have been classified within a special access program managed by an intelligence agency, a compartmented program that even senior officials, including myself, were not read into. Last year's UAP hearing before this oversight committee confirmed that UAP related information is not only being withheld from senior officials and members of Congress, but elements of the government are engaging in a disinformation campaign to include personal attacks designed to discredit UAP whistleblowers. For the remainder of my government service, including my time as an Undersecretary of Commerce and NOAA Administrator, this incident disturbed me. It highlighted a dangerous culture of overclassification where even pressing safety to flight issues could be swept aside under the pretense of secrecy. Now, as a private citizen not bound by non disclosure agreements regarding UAPs, I have become an advocate for greater transparency from the U.S. government and continue to speak out to validate the credibility of witnesses and other former government and military UAP whistleblowers. I do this for several reasons, he says. First, there is a moral imperative. We know from last year's UAP hearing and recent statements and publications by credible whistleblowers that UAP, NHI, and their technology of unknown origin, TUO, represent a new realization that we are not the only advanced intelligence in the universe, on Earth. Unelected officials in the U.S. government do not have an exclusive right to this knowledge about the nature of reality. The American people have a right to that knowledge as well. There is a public safety requirement for more government UAP transparency. The safety of flight concerns regarding UAP are not limited to the military. And that is why I support Ryan Graves' organization, Americans for Safe Aerospace, which is calling for legislation requiring the FAA establish UAP reporting procedures. There is a national security need for more UAP transparency as well. In 2025, the U.S. will spend over $900 billion on national defense, yet we still have an incomplete understanding of what is in our airspace and water space and water space and water space and water space. I add the term water space because UAP have been observed in the ocean and are known to exhibit transmedium travel through the air-sea interface. These are often referred to as unidentified submerged objects, USOs. Whether aerial or undersea, a UAP are operating unhindered in our skies and seas. And American taxpayers have a right to know why our military's massive budget is inadequately addressing this national defense deficiency. Additionally, more government UAP transparency has the potential to yield socioeconomic benefits through increased open research. Our present understanding of physics is not capable of explaining many observations of UAP, and more research might lead to unimaginable advances in energy, transportation, medicine, agriculture, not to mention the paradigm shift that NHI represent in areas such as astrobiology, psychology, sociology, and international relations. Such research in the mission of Harvard Such research is the mission of Harvard University's Galileo Project, which I support as a research affiliate. Below. Finally, and perhaps the most important reason, the failure of the executive branch to share UAP information with Congress is an infringement on the legislative branch that undermines separation of powers and may be creating a constitutional crisis. The foundational issue is one of governance and public accountability. The continued excessive secrecy surrounding UAPs has not only hindered our ability to effectively address these phenomena, but has also eroded trust in our institutions and compromised the safety of both military and civilian aviators. While recent initiatives such as the establishment of the All Domain Anomaly Research Resolution Office, or AARO, NASA's UAP study team, and research efforts by institutions like Harvard and Stanford are positive steps forward. They are only the beginning. A more comprehensive approach is urgently needed, one that acknowledges the broader implications of UAP transparency across public safety, national security, and the socioeconomic opportunities that open research could unlock. Therefore, I recommend Congress take the following action, which I believe would receive bipartisan support. 1. Establish proper oversight of the executive branch's management of UAP programs, information, and materials. The first step should be to invite the director of DoD's All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, to provide various committees a briefing on U.S. government UAP reporting to date. Additionally, AARO needs to explain the inaccuracies and incompleteness of AARO's first historical records report, so that the Congress can understand A, if AARO is failing to meet its congressional mandate, and B, under what authority AARO has conducted this and other examples of disinformation. I say this as a first-hand witness to such disinformation. During a meeting with the then acting AARO director and his senior staff earlier this year, I was the object of an hours-long influence operation which attempted to convince me of the validity of the severely flawed historical records report. Question well-known UAP reports such as the USS Nimitz Tic Tac encounter, and disparage several former government authorities who have published and spoken publicly about their knowledge of U.S. government UAP programs. If AARO is attempting to repeat the illegal and unethical DoD disinformation efforts involving UAP in the past, Congress should be gravely concerned. The next step should be to invite the Director of National Intelligence and the National Security Advisor to discuss the nature of their office's apparent policy of UAP non-disclosure. Does the government's Good morning, Morgan Performance. This is Francis. How can I help you? Oh, I'm doing good, Charlie. What's up? Okay, I'm going to put you on hold. Robert? Robert, line one. Robert, line one, please. I just got to make sure that Charlie's line gets picked up. It'll be just a second. Boom, boom. I hope everybody's having a good morning. Some dude, William. Got 4 viewers, 5 likes. Somebody just made a message that's hold review. Robert's probably not here. He doesn't like to work on Saturday, even though we got some important stuff going on. I like this. I'm gonna get this Dr. Gallaudet on the show. Just hold on. I'm sorry. Charlie, I don't know if he's here. Uh, want me to go run down and check? Okay. I called down there, but I'm looking at your line not being picked up, so I want to make sure I get back to you. Okay. Okay. Bye. Okay, so we're going to step back to the. Therefore, I recommend Congress take the following action. So this Rear Admiral retired is asking that Congress take these following actions. One, to establish proper oversight of the executive branch's management of UAP programs, information, and materials. Executive branch, that's the presidential branch, executive branch. So they want the executive branch to open up with the information that they have. The first step should be to invite the director of the DoD's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, to provide various committees a briefing on the U.S. government UAP reporting to date. Additionally, AARO needs to explain the inaccuracies and incompleteness of AARO's first historical records report, so that the Congress can understand A, if AARO is failing to meet its congressional mandate, and B, under what authority AARO has conducted this and other examples of disinformation. So this guy's actually saying that AARO is producing disinformation. I say this as a first-hand witness to such disinformation, right? During a meeting with the then acting AARO director and his senior staff earlier this year, I was the object of an hour-long influence operation which attempted to convince me of the validity of the severely flawed historical records report, questioned well-known UAP reports such as the USS Nimitz Tic Tac encounter, and disparaged several former government authorities who have published and spoken publicly about their knowledge of U.S. government UAP programs. If AARO is attempting to repeat the illegal and unethical DoD disinformation efforts involving UAP in the past, Congress should be gravely concerned. The next step should be to invite the Director of National Intelligence and National Security Advisor to discuss the nature of their office's apparent policy of UAP non-disclosure. Does the government's reluctance to disclose information about UAP originate at the top with the commander-in-chief, or are unelected, lower-level career bureaucrats driving ODNI and NSC direction in this matter? Congress should also vigorously seek answers from other executive branch departments and agencies known to have some involvement with UAP information, such as the ICNA, NASA, DOE, DHS, and SF. Through briefings, hearings, review nominations, and all other appropriate means, effective oversight can be established and maintained. No worry, Eli. Hope everybody's having a good day. Congress has demonstrated leadership on this topic by, DHS and through briefings, hearings, review nominations, all appropriate means. Effective oversight can be established and maintained. 2. Pass the provisions of the UAP Disclosure Act involving the UAP Records Review Board into law. Congress has demonstrated leadership on this topic by enacting requirements in recent years for military and intelligence community personnel to report UAP observations, and by directing a joint program office within the Department of Defense, AARO, to gather, analyze, and report UAP data. Despite this progress, proper oversight remains elusive. Although the UAP Disclosure Act, a landmark transparency bill, passed the Senate in 2023, key provisions were deleted in conference. Proposed yet again this year, the act was unfortunately omitted from the pending defense authorization bill despite strong bipartisan support from the Senate Majority Leader and key members of the Senate Intelligence and Defense Committees. The eliminated provisions would have empowered an independent UAP Records Review Board, UAP-RRB, composed of subject matter experts to examine all relevant governmental UAP data regardless of security classification, and provide the President with a thorough, truthful, and independent assessment of the UAP issue. Robust and accountable mechanisms for making such information available to researchers and the public were also left unenacted. These provisions in the UAP Disclosure Act offer the best possible path for meaningful oversight. Enacting them would address serious concerns increasingly voiced by Congress and the American people regarding major shortcomings in the government's UAP policy. The Act's UAPRB is vital to ensuring that a comprehensive archive will be subjected to open and skeptical inquiry by scientists, scholars, the media, and Congress, and that the executive and legislative branches receive a full accounting of the government's activities relating to UAP. Independent review of UAP records, activities, and material will serve to restore faith in our democratic institution and ensure the nation's security. Congress should pass these provisions of the UAP Disclosure Act as well as other UAP legislation awaiting action by Congress. These recommendations are endorsed by the UAP Disclosure Fund, which I support as a strategic advisor. 3. After the UAP Disclosure Act is passed, consider strengthening it in a future reauthorization with additional provisions to establish a whole of government approach to UAP. Currently, activity regarding U.S. government UAP information is occurring within a handful of departments and agencies: DoD, IC, NASA, DOE, and NSF. Other elements of national power are needed to develop and implement a national UAP policy and strategy that accelerates the advancement of scientific research and comprehensively considers their national security, socioeconomic, and international implications. Good morning. Future provisions of the UAP Disclosure Act should direct the executive branch to develop such a national UAP policy and strategy, as well as several supporting actions. A. Identifying a department whose cabinet secretary will serve as the lead for U.S. UAP policy and interagency coordination. B. Organizing a new UAP committee under the White House National Science and Technology Council with coordinating role under the National Security Council to serve as the interface between the executive branch and the intelligence community. C. Directing the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy Director, including UAP in the annual White House R&D Priorities Memorandum. D. Directing the NSC Director to include UAP in all future issuances of the U.S. National Security Strategy. E. Creating a UAP Studies Board under the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine. The need for a whole government approach is endorsed by Stanford University's Soul Foundation, which I support as a strategic advisor. In closing, I would like to share my personal reasons for speaking out on the topic of UAP. As a former science agency leader, I have always sought the truth in human knowledge and thought. Now that we know UAP are interacting with humanity, and these include unidentified submerged objects in the ocean, we should not keep our heads stuck in the sand, but boldly face this new reality and learn from it. Secondly, I have dedicated my entire career to the national security and economic prosperity of our country. Failure to share with the American people what is known about UAP leaves them in the dark on the biggest issue to confront human civilization to date. When has ignorance ever advanced society? Lastly, at a time when leaders on the nation's biggest stage leave much to be desired, I feel it is my obligation to show moral leadership on the issue of UAP disclosure. And by that, I mean providing top cover for the courageous men and women who have come out as witnesses and whistleblowers to expose the truth. My speaking out has encouraged others to do the same, and it is my hope that over time, the number of your constituents who want to know the truth about UAP will increase to such an extent that the congressional action I have just recommended will become inevitable. UAP for you and me. So yeah, let's get that Dr. Rear Admiral retired Dr. Timothy Gallaudet. We're gonna ring him up for an interview too, and let us just stay on top of this right here. These people, not just him, there are many people, and not just people like me and you, but the people who are in places of power who are in a place at a time because they were there for work or they were there on a mission or whatever, and they had to interact with these events, and they were bringing back this information. I've seen video, I've got questions. Hopefully, you know, our new president, uh, I hope our new president is as transparent as we all hope he will be, besides being powerful, strong, and efficient and all the things we need him to be. And we got to be sure that whatever information we're getting isn't here just to throw us off reality and send us down a path that we shouldn't be going down. But this gentleman here, Dr. Timothy Gallaudet, says we need to know, because if we don't know, then we're not actually living in the reality, that the real reality. And one of the most important things for all of us to try to do is live in the real reality and just fuck off the non-reality, right? We cannot spend one more minute in the non-reality. We have to catch up to reality, recognize it for what it is, move within it, and uncover what we can about about reality. I don't know how long I got in here. I got 36 minutes in this live. Good morning, good morning, good morning for everyone who stopped in and listened. It is a good morning. We have live broadcasts of Collision Course coming up very soon. We're going to do that. Abbey Loeb on December 14th. We've got, I'll tell you, we got how many people? 3 people. I don't know if you remember back in the day, back in the Apollo mission time era at NASA, there was a gentleman who climbed into a spacesuit and went into a vacuum chamber, and that spacesuit just took a shit on him. And he found himself stuck in the vacuum. Well, he's a friend of mine, and we're going to bring him on, and we're going to talk about UAPs. And here's a man from the Apollo age of NASA. He was one of the men who besides engineering the spacesuits, and was the real reason why he was in the spacesuit in the vacuum when the spacesuit went to hell. He was also on the team for the scrubber build when they built the scrubber after the Apollo had a problem with their scrubber. So I'm not going to say his name. I mean, you could probably look it up. If you're a friend of mine on Facebook, you just go scroll through my Facebook page and you would find that too. We have interviewed him before, specifically on the vacuum chamber event, but we're going to expand on this event because of how he interacted about the UAP, how he said, well, government is hiding stuff. Well, this is a man who was in NASA he's been in NASA for 60 years, right? So he's got a little feel, I'm sure, on what it felt like 60 years ago dealing with potential UAP. We're dealing with them today. We were dealing with them back then. It's not, oh, the aliens got here, the UAP just arrived. I believe for much of it are the human species' ability to see things that may be just outside of our 3D, 4D reality, right? Our ability to just stretch those realities out a little bit gives us the ability to see those things that once were hidden to us because our technology's better. We can see them. I mean, maybe it's FLIR, maybe LiDAR, whatever the process is, laser, whatever that technology was for the human race to elevate it to where we can witness and see things that are going on in our spatial area more than we could before that technology has probably drawn out some of these UAP because we can see them. And now, and like I said, once they're seen by once they're seen, then there's no need to hide, and you'll have a snowball effect. You know, because if they are truly in what we, I don't know if you hope for it or you imagine it or you think it, if they are a result of some intelligent civilization that's not ours, not within the human species, outside the human species, then we have to know. And it's great to have these folks just coming out of Congress speaking their truth. And we're going to reach out to them and have them speak more of their truth. And just like with every interview, bump, 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 we do a little research and we find out that there really is something to talk about when we talk to scientists and we talk to the people who are partaking in the science. All it takes is one extra page of consumption, of knowledge consumption, to make a connection. Like I have coming up Abby Lowe, and besides all the things we've already talked about, we're talking about his recent visit to Papua New Guinea off the coast, and he sent a magnet to the bottom of the ocean floor, and they drug it across the ocean floor, and they were able to pick up these little spherules, little tiny, not microscopic, but small spherules, and in the matter that was drug up from the bottom of the seafloor out the coast of Papua, and that material in the spherules are not of this land, not of this world. Where, I mean, if it was something that came from an asteroid, and that's what the assumption is. Now, I haven't had to talk with Abby, so what I know of Abby is this asteroid was discovered after it impacted Earth, but it was able to be orbitized, which means they were able to go back and determine its orbit. And if Abby determined that its orbit was a certain elliptical, was a certain orbit, he could first then say, well, that probably came from outside the solar system. And then if he could get an estimation of its speed, because really something that comes from outside our solar system, the way you know it came from outside our solar system is just purely by its speed. Objects, asteroids, comets, the planet, whatever thing is moving, in our solar system can only get up to about 32,000 miles an hour. At least objects like asteroids and stuff like that. The asteroids that we're interacting and seeing that come from within our solar system, zooming past Earth, well, they're zooming past at 32,000 miles an hour. That sounds like wicked fast, right? But that object, Oumuamua, Comet Borisov, they were coming at 32,000 miles a second. Big difference. Morning, Kevin. Morning, Kevin. Yeah, so easy to tell. Asteroid, solar system, asteroid, interstellar traveler. Asteroid, solar system, asteroid, interstellar traveler. Let's try that again. I love it. Asteroid, solar system, asteroid, interstellar traveler. But that one, I sped that one up. Whatever. I hope everybody's doing good. We've been on this for almost an hour at 45 minutes. We're going to turn it down. We're going to turn it off. Let's see if I find another reason to come on in about an hour or so.